Hey, that's different. A little new, little
Yeah.
little little hiccup in there, but you know what? We'll get it right next time. Uh, thank you for joining us. We are Sports Unfolded, episode 8 of season 2. I am your host, Eric. My main man over there, Ron. How are you?
I am swell.
Swell, swell. So we've got obviously a lot to unfold tonight. We are going to start off with our leadoff story, and that is going to be Jawan Howard, who has been suspended for the rest of the regular season for the Michigan Wolverines. Do you feel like there was a fair punishment for his actions? So we're going to bring him up. So in case anybody doesn't know who Jawan Howard is, and he's
Oh,
head
there
producers
we
all over
go.
the place today, all over the place. So Jawan Howard, obviously the coach of the Michigan Wolverines, the men's college basketball team, uh, recently got into an altercation with one of the coaches for the Wisconsin Badgers. It's been suspended for the rest of the season. Do you feel like that's a sufficient amount of time?
Yeah, I do. I still don't like it, but I don't know. Look, I don't know what was said, what was done. I mean, I saw the whole thing, from beginning to end. Um, so the other coach was a jackwagon for calling the timeout. Um, oh, boo hoo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Boo hoo. It's like you can't control yourself as a human.
yeah. So there was a $40,000 fine for against Michigan. 3 players suspended for 1 game, 2 from Michigan, 1 from Wisconsin. One of the assistant coaches was fined $10,000 from Wisconsin. Here's where I have a problem with the situation. As a leader of young men, I find
That's
it
where I
hard
was
for
headed.
for me to say it's okay and justify that after about 5 to 6 games. I think that's all Michigan has left in the regular season. He
Yeah.
will be allowed to coach in the Big Ten tournament if they make the NCAA tournament, which is a possibility. That they're one of the last 4 in currently. If things were to end, how do you allow him to be on the sidelines during those kind of games? What kind of um, discipline are you showing your players if you
None.
do something like that and then you're able to come back?
You're not sending a message at all. Like that's this is why I have a whole big problem with who it is. Not, being Juwan
Yeah,
Howard.
yeah, that is
Just
the coach.
as a college coach. You are basically teaching these college students how to become men, you know, in life. And you are supposed to show them, leadership, responsibility, and everything else that is attached to that. It's like having a second father. Some of them, it might be their only father.
Yeah, yeah,
And what is this sending a message? It just sends a message that it doesn't matter what you say, what you do, um, you'll not suffer, you know, big consequences. That's what he's teaching them.
yeah. And again, I think overall, this isn't his first time trying to get into an altercation. The last time though, they were able to get him off the court before he did anything. And I looked at it this way. Think about how you're hurting the program. So if I'm a parent and I am making a decision as to if I want you to coach my child,
Yeah.
the image you've shown now is that I may, from a recruiting standpoint, decide I'm not going to send my child to Michigan because I don't feel like you're a stable enough coach to teach my kid the rights and the wrongs of
Oh,
college
he's
basketball.
clearly not stable enough. Clearly.
And I
Like,
like
he
Juwan
just
Howard. I
played
thought
there.
I was a Michigan Wolverine with the Fab Five. I thought he was, again, that whole team. And I've been a huge fan of those players that were there.
Yeah.
But I was just surprised that again the amount of time for the suspension. Like to me, you're done this year. You can't coach in the tournament. You can't coach in the NCAA tournament if your team makes it or the NIT. You're out. Like you're out for the year. Sit, think about what you did. He
Right.
apologized, and again, I'm not saying not to accept it because I think it was legitimate. I think he understands he made a mistake, but at the same time, you're not teaching these kids the right and wrong if you're just letting them come back after 5 to 6 games.
No, no. And personally, if I was, the sports director, I probably would have fired him.
And you very well could have, and would have been justified in it.
Yep.
So again, we'll see what ends up happening once they, the suspension's over and they're in the tournament. And again, if he gets in, I'm sure this is going to be one of the things that they discuss, and not the actual, 64 teams playing in a tournament. They're going to be discussing Juwan Howard and this situation, which is a shame.
They may just not let him in no matter what.
Yeah, and again, the committee could keep him on, and we've talked about that in the past with just even like Major League Baseball and the writers keeping players out because they don't like them. The committee might say, "Look, even if it's close, they may not let him in."
Yeah,
based on that. So no, that was a great point. Great point.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to happen. They're not going to put him in.
Yeah, unless they win the Big Ten tournament, then they have to get in. They automatically.
Yeah.
So that's where we could have some.
Right now, they're crossing their fingers.
Yeah, right. Let's move on to the NFL, and we're going to talk some Patriots football. And this individual, J.C. Jackson, who's going to be on your screen.
Yeah.
And what should the Patriots do with this cornerback? So obviously he's a free agent. If you were the New England Patriots, would you re-sign J.C. Jackson?
Oh, absolutely. If you want to win a Super Bowl, you got to keep him. You can't replace all these players that they're going to have free agents. This is the one guy that you have to sign.
So
this is the one that you have to.
Here's what scares me, though. He wants Jalen Ramsey money. Jalen Ramsey signed a 5-year, $100 million deal, $25 million signing bonus, $71 million guaranteed. So he's on your books for the next 5 years at basically, $70 million. You do the math, $13, $14 million a year. It's a lot of money to invest in one guy.
And how old is he?
27. So I'd put him at 32, which is, if you start looking at the Gilmore situation and what happened with Gilmore, it just at some point the age caught up, right? And then that's where we were at. So I looked at it this way though, as well.
How old is Ramsey right now?
It's got to be.
Do you know how old he is?
5, maybe 24, 25. I would say maybe in that area.
See, that's where the sticky part is, because if he's going to be 32 at that money, I don't know if at 32 he's still going to be
the same quality player. So
if you can sign him for 3 years,
yeah, which he ain't going to take because he wants that guaranteed money. He's going to want to know he's set for the next 5 years.
If they make it guaranteed for 3 years,
yeah, Faceless. Thanks for joining.
If they do that, if they can do a full guarantee for 3 years and give that same money, not $100 million, but 13 a year, he might go for that.
So I did some research, and I know how much you love research and numbers.
Yes.
So he's had 25 interceptions in his career, the 4 years he's been with New England, 8 last year, which was his high. So I started to look at some of the top cornerbacks that New England's had. And this is what I came up with, though. So remember that number, 25 interceptions in 4 years. Manny, thanks for joining. Asante Samuel, we can say, was one of our top cornerbacks. He had 22 interceptions in the 5 years. Stephon Gilmore, 11 interceptions in 4 years. Ty Law, who's probably one of the greatest cornerbacks the New England Patriots have had, he had 36 in 10 years. His first 4 years, though, with New England, 18. J.C. Jackson has far exceeded some of the top cornerbacks, Bill Belichick's system,
right,
for the last 20 years. You have to start to say this guy might have gotten something more than any of these other guys had, which is incredible. And now you're starting to say, do you invest that money in him? I agree, though. Could it be too much money? And the question would be, do you really realistically want to make sure that Mac Jones has some weapons and that's where you're spending some of your money? A top wide receiver. You got to start to question it. And that's what I like J.C. Jackson as a player. I don't know if New England can afford to re-sign him.
I'd sign him. I'd sign him. I'd give him the money.
So if you can't sign a top
And-
wide receiver because of the money you give you give J.C. Jackson,
Oh well.
how do you get Mac to be where he needs to be? Who was Cincinnati Bengals top cornerback? Eli Apple got torched, but they still made the Super Bowl
Hmm.
because they had Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. They had wide receivers. Yeah, you got to start the question: is it worth it?
Look, I don't think you win a Super Bowl without a top defensive back. I don't think you win one.
I don't know.
And I think that's what it ultimately came down to is Rams had Ramsey.
Ramsey didn't have a good game either.
He did enough to stop them.
So
Wait,
go ahead.
what was Chase's numbers? Did
Yep,
he score a touchdown?
No, 5 catches for 80-something yards. Okay.
There we go. That's the difference right there. No touchdowns. None.
I still wouldn't
You
predict.
said it yourself. You said it yourself on the recap.
Yep, I agree. I just don't see J.C. Jackson as a Jalen Ramsey. I don't think he's as good. I don't know why. I just maybe I'm blinded by something that I'm not allowing myself to see.
Look,
I also felt like he had a really good cornerback on the other side of the ball with Gilmore, so they were testing him. And again, he had one of his best years without Gilmore. So you could play it both sides of the coin.
This is what I'm saying. They didn't throw to his side, and he still came up with good numbers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody should have been picking apart, Mills and the rest of the secondary, but they still couldn't because J.C. Jackson seemed to be everywhere.
So, undrafted J.C. Jackson. You're telling me that Bill couldn't find a cornerback in the second, third round to replace him and sign a number 1 wide receiver? If I was going to let's put it this way, and then we'll move on. If I could tell you they could sign Devontae Adams, but they have to let J.C. Jackson go and they'll have to look for a cornerback in the draft, would you make that move?
No.
You're out of you. You're off your rocker right now.
I'm not.
You're saying no just to say no, because you can't tell me you wouldn't want Devontae Adams, who's one of the best wide receivers in the league, to play alongside Mac Jones.
Because deep down inside, I know he's not going to sign with the Patriots. He's going to go wherever Rodgers is.
I said if it was possible.
I don't care. I don't care. I'm in reality here. Okay,
right,
there's no way.
No Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah,
no Alice in Wonderland.
Because
you don't
he's
want to
going
click
to want
your heels?
more than 13. He's going to want 20 million a year, and they're not going to do that.
Click your heels 3 times.
That's fantasy land. Fantasy land.
Fantasy Island. Yes. We're gonna send you over.
The plane.
Yes, tattoo. All right, let's talk.
No, but seriously, Eric, it's like you have to beat Buffalo, correct?
Yeah, and J.C. Jackson, did you see the last game against Buffalo?
And did you see his reaction after it?
Yeah, because he quit. He knew they couldn't stop him.
He was upset. He didn't get those picks that he wants.
So So Jamar Chase is a better wide receiver than Stephon Diggs? Would you say that?
Yes.
And yet J.C. Jackson couldn't shut down Stephon Diggs. Think about it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Think about
it. With Josh Allen in your division, you have to have a corner. I don't get rid of J.C. Jackson unless I have an alternate plan. And right now, they don't have that. So you got to keep him. You can't just hope that you're going to draft one.
So the one option is the franchise tag, which would be $17 million for this season, is what it's probably going to end up with. I can't see him signing him long term. You're going to pay J.C. Jackson $17 million.
See, the problem with that, if you decide that you do want to sign him, then it's going to have to be more than $17 million.
Yep.
So I'd give him the $13 million. Try to do it for 3 years.
He won't take it.
If he takes it, then great. If he doesn't, then you give him 4. And you just keep working up that way. But you have to attempt to sign him.
All right.
And we know. Look, we know what the receivers did for the Patriots this year. It wasn't great. They had Jacoby Myers,
who's probably
and
going to be gone. He's another one.
Bourne.
Who's your best receiver? Jacoby Myers right now is your best receiver, who's probably going to be gone. Which leaves you Bourne, Aguilar, and then you're saying don't sign a top-notch receiver.
Well, no, I didn't say don't sign a top-notch, but you're not paying $20 million for one.
That leaves you N'Keal Harry.
I'm just saying, Eric. The cornerback is more important.
They can't afford it
in that division.
They can't afford it. They got a lot of.
Because you have the high-flying Jets.
You don't feel good about the Jets? I think the Jets and the Dolphins this year.
Oh yeah, sure.
All right, let's talk about another team in the AFC that I was thinking about recently, and that's the Chiefs. And do we feel like the Chiefs' run is over? So obviously they lost to the Bengals in the championship game. They lost the previous season to the Bucs in the Super Bowl. Do we start to see this team as a fading team that had their one shot, their one opportunity, and now they'll be a good team, but not a team that you ultimately say every year is going to make the Super Bowl?
No, I think they could possibly return to the Super Bowl. So, look, they're just going to shore up some of the holes that they had.
So they're losing a lot on the defensive side of the ball. So
yeah,
Tyrann Mathieu, one of the best secondaries, your safeties in the league, he's a free agent. They're saying they're probably not going to be able to re-sign him. Anthony Hitchens, a linebacker, 80 tackles last season. He's a free agent. Defensive tackle, Jaron Reed, free agent. So obviously on the defensive side. And then Melvin Ingram, who had a very good playoffs for them. He's a free agent. Besides the fact of only having $11 million in salary cap for this upcoming season, some squabbles now that you're starting to hear between Mahomes and Bieniemy on the offensive side and how plays are being called and what's being called, and them not really. Bieniemy almost didn't come back for this upcoming season. There was a lot of talk that he may just step away because he was having so many issues with Patrick Mahomes. That's where you're starting to see some issues that, again, because they're not winning Super Bowls, I think you're starting to see some tension. And it's going to be very difficult if they can't shore up one side of the ball defensively as well, because they're going to need still to be able to stop some players.
Well, they gotta actually fix between the ears of Mahomes. Because, to be honest, I think it was his fault that they lost.
Oh, yeah. To the Bengals? Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
It was his fault.
Without a doubt. He played one of the
terrible.
worst halves I've seen. That call at the end of the first half,
that was brutal.
To this point, I don't understand.
That's brutal. That's brutal.
Then even in overtime, he throws the interception.
Yeah.
So, I think he's starting to smarten up. His wife isn't going to be attending games. He's asked her to stop. His brother isn't going to be there.
So you cut out your family because you stunk?
I think they were actually just more of a distraction.
Yeah, well,
so, his brother's very big on the Instagram, TikTok world, and
so was Tom's wife at playoff games?
Yeah, but I don't think she was a distraction. She just sits in the booth.
Well, that's because she wears the pants in the family.
Man, even said they were annoying. They're literally.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like
they're there more for the social media aspect of it and not actually to support him.
And you can see it's the generation thing,
Hence why he's not winning Super Bowl.
Social media. Tom Brady could give two craps.
Exactly. It's all about the game. And that's what I said. I'm starting to feel like, look, Mahomes got his money. He's set for the rest of his life, realistically, if he's smart.
And you think Giselle
$500 million the guy signed for? Yeah, she's got her own money.
Think about this. Like,
you don't need Tom's money.
If she posts on Instagram or whatever, She's making millions of dollars just on that one post. She doesn't need the money.
No, not at
So
all.
she could care less.
Exactly. She's there just for the support.
Yeah.
Let's move on to our triple play.
Triple play.
Triple play. Really excited about this one because I know how much you love LeBron, and every time I can get a LeBron in there, it's exciting for me because I just know how much it annoys you. So we are going to break down the NBA's top 3 leading scorers currently, and we're going to decide who we start, who we bench, and who we cut. And that's Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and LeBron James. And I'm first this week. So I ease you out of this a little bit. I'm going to give you the right answers right off the bat so you can just follow suit. So I am starting, as crazy as this is going to sound, Joel Embiid. 29.6 points a game, 11.2 rebounds, shooting 49% from the field, 36.9 from the three-point range, and 81% at the free throw line. The man is a scorer. He's a shooter. For a center to be able to do what he's doing in his numbers, I would take that because that's a mismatch almost every single night on any NBA team. So I'm putting on my bench Giannis Antetokounmpo. 29.4 points a game, 11.2 rebounds. He's shooting 54% from the field, only 30% from 3 and 72 from the free throw line. But just his physical presence on the court and what he can do athletically, I put him there. Which means I cut your boy, LeBron James, averaging 29.1 points a game, 7.9 rebounds. Obviously he's 6 assists a game, 52% from the field, 35 from the 3, and 74 from the free throw line. I would still question at his age what he could bring my team. So I would obviously start with Joel, go Giannis, and I'm cutting LeBron. The perfect list. You're up, my friend.
Okay. I am starting Embiid.
I told you I had the right list.
Look, it's okay. Plays center, right? When was the last time a center has dominated the game?
Shaq, recently.
Right. And he can shoot better.
No, much better.
Yeah. He can do everything. So he's going to be equal to Shaq in like the rebounds and all that stuff, and and even the passing. Shaq was a very good passer, but the shooting from a center that can do what he does. I mean, I'm thinking there's 4 players in history that have been able to be that, and you have Shaq, Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain, and the other big guy there.
Hakeem?
Yes, thank you. I couldn't think of Olajuwon. Couldn't think of his first name. Those are the 4 guys that I look at, and it just oozes top 5 all time.
Kareem? Got to throw Kareem.
Oh, yeah. So top 6. There we go. I forget Kareem. So, but after that, like when you get those guys, and then you get a Moses Malone type. That's really good. Like, don't get me wrong, but
I agree. Malone's the Ewings.
Yes.
The big dominant centers, but they're not able to do as much as the other guys were.
Yeah, and David Robinson is somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I think he'd probably be ahead of those other guys. He's close to being in that dominant factor.
I can see that.
So
you shot Joel.
Look, Embiid is Embiid hasn't had any help either.
Yeah, agreed. Harden finally coming back tonight.
Like he's doing it by himself.
Yeah. So we'll see what this Harden Embiid.
I am benching Giannis.
I told you I had the perfect list.
No, I knew it was the perfect list. The only problem is you actually brought LeBron in for an interview. I didn't bring him in.
You didn't even bring LeBron in?
Didn't even bring him in.
The 3rd leading scorer in the NBA.
I don't care. I don't care.
You and LeBron need to make Remember
those
hey,
6 assists are a farce.
last week's show, we all get along. We were trying to make, we're getting you some unit. We got it. We fell apart again. I don't get it. I don't get it. We were close to getting you to like LeBron.
I don't bring LeBron in. Sorry.
Great list. Let's move on to some NBA action. And we're going to bring up Chris Paul here and show that injury to that hand. So this was Chris Paul at the All-Star game. He had some surgery on that right hand wrist, I believe. How do you think this is overall going to affect the Western Conference now?
Whose hand is like grabbing that player by the head there, and looks like he's gonna bounce him.
Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, that's that imaging.
Yeah. I like
He's
that.
palming his head.
Funny.
Yes.
What player is that?
I don't know.
Can't tell.
But what do you got? What do you think? I
Look,
just realized
I think
the name of the show is Birds and Turds, by the way.
yes, and we already talked about the turd, Juwan Howard.
Wow. So Chris Paul, Phoenix.
No, look, Phoenix is in trouble. Like, I like they're not in trouble. Like they won't make the playoffs, but
Yeah, that's
now they're gonna have a probably a worse seed, and then have to play somebody better than what they would expect.
So
because I expect them to drop down to at least fourth.
wow, I don't know. I doubt that. So currently they're 49-10 in the Western Conference. They're
Yep,
6.5.
just like that.
They're 6.5 games ahead of Golden State right now. So they'd have to go on a pretty massive losing streak to go.
Yeah, but
even to drop the two.
It's 6 to 8 weeks.
I know, but you're basically saying, look, the remaining strength of their schedule is team's winning percentage is 49.3. They've got one game remaining against Golden State. The Warriors 51% winning percentage for the teams they face remaining. So the Warriors have a tougher schedule. The question to you, great point. How do they replace 14.9 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, and 10.7 assists a game?
You can't, not with the
Right?
roster
Exactly.
they have.
So I can see them losing some games, maybe falling out of the top seed. They won't drop. The question would be is this, Ron. When they get into the playoffs, Chris Paul may just be coming back. Now you're talking about basketball shape, his energy, what he can do.
And also
that's where I think it affects
who you're playing. So, okay, just for turds and giggles.
Turds and giggles. We just started something new.
Say they drop down to the number 2 spot.
Yeah.
So then you're going to be playing the 7 seed. Suppose that is the Lakers.
Possibly. It could be.
It could be disastrous for them.
Yeah.
And like you said, he's just going to be coming back from injury. So he's not even going to be in game shape.
Yeah. That's where I think it affects them.
So
they may hold on to the 1 seed. I think they could hold on to the 1 seed.
Hold on to that 1 seed.
The problem would be is when they get into the playoffs now, he's probably not going to be 100% still.
No, and
that's where it hurts.
Out of all those teams that are battling for that 7, 8, 9, and 10 spot, if it comes out and you have to play the Lakers in round 1, that is not going to be good for them because that's a team that could just say, hey, you know what? We can take this team.
Yeah.
Like the others that are there, I don't see that happening if he's back. If he's back, even if he's like 50%, he'll be able to handle those other teams. But at 50%, you can't handle. LeBron can carry a team, and we know this.
Yeah.
He can carry, a team for a few games, and then he'll break down.
You hope.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like you gotta look. LeBron is good for a series to win a series by himself. And I wouldn't want to have to play them in round 1.
No, I could see it. I got you. I'm concerned about the playoffs. We had this team pegged pretty much to go to the finals. And then this injury now definitely puts a kink in that.
Yeah, it does.
Let's talk about another team that could make the finals. That would be the Boston Celtics. You see how I segued right into
Come
that?
on.
That was pretty good.
Come on.
Do you feel like they've turned their season around? So they're currently sixth in the East, 35-26, 9-1 in their last 10 games. That one hiccup against Detroit. Otherwise, they would have been on an
Oh my
11-game
God.
win streak.
How do you you beat all these teams and you lose to Detroit? Really? Like
That happens. You got a hiccup. They had a hiccup.
no.
They had a
No,
hiccup.
it's inexcusable. When you're playing catch up to the rest of the league, you can't take a day off.
As long as you're not playing mustard. But that is my dad joke for the day. So
Wow.
the strength of the schedule
Wow.
for the Boston Celtics, they got teams just a little bit over 500 that are remaining. 2 against Memphis, so Golden State, Miami, Utah, and Milwaukee.
Oh my God. Loss.
But they only sit 1 game ahead of Toronto, who's fifth, who's seventh. I'm sorry, and Cleveland, who is currently fifth. They're 1 game behind, so they could actually move up a game, a seed here, and be the 5th seed. Key though would be Toronto, 5th easiest remaining schedule. Cleveland, 14th easiest. So again, Cleveland may fall, but can Toronto push enough to get it? So they may sit at 6.
Who's above Cleveland? So we got
What is
Milwaukee.
it? Milwaukee, yeah.
And then you
And
have
then so you don't want
Chicago
the 5. You get the 5
and-
seed. That means you're a 4-5. You'd play Milwaukee in the first round. I don't think I like that. Yeah, I don't.
No, I don't like having to play any of those teams that are up there.
I think they could beat Miami. As much as it sounds crazy, I think they could beat Miami. I can't see them being Milwaukee. But anyway, so you don't think this is just a sign of things to come for the Boston Celtics, or is this similar to what we see every year? They make a good run somewhere in the season.
Where Chicago, Miami, Milwaukee, and
Philadelphia?
76ers.
Are in that? Yeah.
They ain't going to beat any of those teams.
Wow.
So forget it. That doesn't matter.
So it don't matter.
Don't matter.
Consider the season over.
Right.
All right. So we'll move on. So if you enjoy what you're watching, check us out.
It's going to be a first round exit.
Check us out every Friday night at 6 p.m. as we are live and fan interactive. If you jump in, we will definitely chime in as well. We are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. You can follow us on social media at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, at Broadcasting RI on Twitter, Sports_Unfolded on Instagram, TikTok, T73, T-Smooth73. Podcasts, Amazon, Anchor, Google, and Spotify. So many different ways to watch, listen,
and
Discord.
tune in.
And tune in. Tune in now. We just joined. Yes, we are on Tune In now. Discord. Join our Discord. If you got Discord, join us. We post all the time on Discord. If you're in Southeast Connecticut, SECTV, that is public access, channel 12. You will check us out on Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. as it's a rebroadcast of this show. So if you're watching it now, check us out on Fridays at 6 p.m. live. If you are interested in broadcasting, is that 2 N's? We got a spelling error as well. We are having it's Rhode Island Broadcasting.
Yeah, broadcasting.
And if you would like to sponsor the show, email us at Rhode Island RIbroadcasting.media@gmail.com. Hey, it's not like we haven't been doing this for a year, right?
There's just so much.
Yeah, there is so much now. Be a sponsor. Sponsor the show. We will advertise for you. We are seen by thousands of people daily. So you will have the ability to advertise your business for less than a cup of Starbucks coffee, which is pretty expensive, but it's still less than that. So check us out. Email us. Be a sponsor of Sports Unfolded. Allow us to continue to do great things here. And our Twitch followers, send some bits. Send some love. Check us out all the time. My hockey guy. It's that time, my friend. I know you like the NHL, and we've got a lot of hockey to talk here. And we just got 10 bits. Thank you, Faceless.
Woo!
Awesome. Thank you so much. So
Yeah,
we are
go
going to
check
talk.
them out on Twitch.
We,
Faceless_PT.
excellent. Thank you so much, Faceless. We are expecting the Boston Bruins to make a move before the deadline, which is about, 3 weeks, a month, little less than a month away now.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're going to need a scorer. They need some scoring. I've got a couple names, but I know you do your research as well. So let's see if we're on the same page here. I've got two players that I really like to see the Boston Bruins go after. That should be available. So
Let's see what you get.
the first one, my friend, JT Miller from Vancouver. He's got 20 goals, 37 assists, so 57 points. Salary cap hit $6 million. He's 28 years old. But when you talk about scoring, again, this guy can definitely distribute the puck and he can put the puck in the net. Also, Thomas Hertel from San Jose. 22 goals, 20 assists, so 42 points. Only a 3.5 million salary cap hit. 28 years old, but probably cost him a first round and maybe a prospect to make that move. Chakra, thanks for joining. To me, you go JT Miller. It just makes sense for the team. It makes sense from a standpoint of, look, not only can he score, but he's going to be able to distribute. That's been one of their issues as well. These guys just, as you said, haven't been cohesive enough moving the puck. He'll move the puck. Will Vancouver give him up? That's the question. And on top of it, if you sign either one of these, they automatically become one of your top 4 scorers on the team. They've had more goals than most of the team, as Pasternak has 28 goals and Marchand 21 goals.
So think Marchand's only played in 40 games,
right? Again, because of the suspensions. So,
yeah,
what would he have had? And on top of it, this is my last one, and I'll let you go because I know you're the hockey guy. David Krejci, to me, still makes sense to sign him. It's probably be a low end deal. If you can sign Krejci and make one of these trades, I think they're in very good position to make a run here in the playoffs. How'd I do?
You did well.
I'm trying. I'm trying to get my hockey knowledge.
But I think Hertel is going to be out of reach. I think the salary is not going to mesh with what the Bruins will have because they're going to have to fill in 2 holes. So that will probably not be the answer for them. Is Hertel probably definitely out. JT Miller, I would love to have him in Boston. I just think it's going to be too expensive for the Bruins to part ways when they do need to fill 2 holes. What would help is if they do sign Krejci to a nice hometown discount like Tuukka Rask had done.
Yeah.
If they can get Krejci to do that, most likely it'll be $3 million with Krejci. I'm seeing probably that's where the ballpark is probably going to be. So then you're looking at, then you have maybe like $3 or $4 million to spare to get another hole filled. But like I said, I would love to see JT Miller, but I think they're going to fill that center spot with Krejci. I think that's where they're going to go. And if they can get a good deal with Krejci, that's going to open up doors for other things. So, depending on what they go for, now I have 3 defensemen that I feel are going to be one of the 3 players that the Bruins get. The first one is Chychrun from Arizona. That Jacob Chychrun everybody wants him. So he's going to be expensive. So you're going to have to give up a first round pick. And you're going to have to give up probably 2 prospects. So with this, I'm looking, okay, so they're going to want a defenseman in return, and it's going to cost him Vakanainen. That is a hefty price to pay, but the Bruins would do it because that gives them a defenseman that can put on the power play,
Yeah.
and that would change a lot of things. They have somebody to bring the puck up all the time. But it would also cost them another prospect, and I think the Bruins would try to do Zach Zenishin from the draft, same draft as um, Jake DeBrusk. So that could be one of the guys that goes back in a package with Vakanainen and a first round pick. That would make sense for the Bruins to do. It could cost another player along with that, um, but I think Vakanainen is probably the one they'd be going after. Um, that would be the top defenseman to get, which also coincides with filling the right wing. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this, but outside of Pasternak, nobody has scored on that right wing.
Which is a
Foligno,
problem. Yeah.
Craig Smith, Jake DeBrusk, which he played right wing, and he got 2 goals on his off wing. Playing, with Bergeron
Yeah.
and Marchand last night, so he must be happy. He might not want to be traded now.
I mean,
So,
he's kept quiet about it.
so you could, in essence, grab Chikrin and Phil Kessel.
Yeah, Kessel's name I've heard a lot.
So Kessel, from what I'm aware of, he has put Bruins on the list to be traded to. So the Bruins are on the list. So, and he's got a list of like 8 teams that he's turned into Arizona and would be willing to go to those 8 teams, which they're probably all playoff teams.
Who was the first guy you mentioned from Arizona?
Chikrin.
Chikrin.
Jacob
So
Chikrin.
could Chikrin and Kessel be like a combination trade deal? You think that would be?
Yes. So they'd have to give up a first round pick and probably 2 prospects. And I think that's where Jake DeBrusk could end up going. Or maybe they can put Bleed in the package and send Bleed or Oscar Steen. I'd like to keep both of them, to be honest with you, but that it could be one of them instead of Jake DeBrusk.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if Arizona would want to take Jake DeBrusk's contract back, because
they're trying to
Arizona
clean
is like
house.
mortgaging the house,
Yeah. Yeah.
So that would actually be really good if they would take like an Anton Bleed, because I'd do that all day and get Chikrin and Kessel, even if it's just this year. That puts another winger as a scorer. So then you got 3 right wingers in essence, because if you keep Jake DeBrusk and you get Phil Kessel, and you already have Pasta. So the other 2 defensemen is Mark Giordano from Seattle, which would be another guy that can put up some offense. Then you can always package a deal and get Marcus Johansson as well. He played for the Bruins when they won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
He was a big part of that. So then you're not looking as spending as much, but you fill in those holes that you really need. It's not a center, but that deal to me is the one to look for, because that brings down the salary with Giordano and Johansson, and that gives you the money to go out and sign Krejci. That's the one that I think the Bruins do, because it makes sense, because then you can get the
Then
3
you give him
players.
that second line center. Yeah.
Exactly. So then you're looking at, putting Haller down at the 4th line, and, Marcus Johansson then moves into either the top line with Bergeron and Marchand, or he goes to the third line with Coyle. And I'm
Not too thrilled
hoping
on that one.
Frederick, but
Yeah.
you know, I don't know if it would be Frederick because there's other guys over there,
So great points with Boston, but I want to talk about another former Boston Bruin. We're going to bring him on the screen here, and that would be Zdeno Chara.
Zdeno.
And I know how much you admired this guy when he was a Boston Bruin and what he's meant for defensemen. He's now passed Chris Chelios as the most games played by a defenseman in NHL history. What are your thoughts about his accomplishment?
I mean, it was great. I mean, I don't look. He's 45. Like he's played a long time. I'm actually surprised it took this long
24
to pass
years.
him.
24 years.
Like, how old was Chelios when he retired? You gotta wonder.
He must have been there for a while. Yes.
Like, because I mean, I would have thought he would have been already the most like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But hey, it's congratulations to Chara. I mean,
yeah,
that's a testament to his game.
Yeah. So he's played with four teams, right? He started off with the Islanders, so now he's kind of bookended that. Boston Bruins for quite some time, Ottawa Senators, and the Washington Capitals last season. I did do some numbers on this, and I don't know why I did it, but I just wanted to compare the two. So Chara, 207 goals, 467 assists. He's a plus 297. One cup, and then one Norris winner. So he won the Norris Award, which is the best defenseman in hockey.
Yeah,
he won it one time. This is where Chris Chelios, actually, if you look at it, 185 goals, so obviously a little less on the goals, but 763 assists. He was a plus 351. Three-time Cup winner, three-time Norris winner. So you realize, like, as a defenseman, and I remember, right, the Detroit teams, when they were really dominant, right? Chris Chelios was one of those guys. So, again, you're more the hockey guy, but I can remember us playing some NHL back on the Sega system. And Chelios was just, it was a beast. He was such a good player.
Yeah, I guess.
So, it's
He's
just
also
fun
a Montreal Canadian.
Yeah, it's just amazing that if you think about the longevity of both of these guys, what they're meant to do, right? They're meant to be those enforcers, the guys in the back end, trying to make sure that teams on scoring, and to be a plus 297, a plus 351, that's just pretty impressive. You don't
he played on Montreal.
That's why you don't like him.
Game.
Look at him. That's why you don't like him. Montreal. You're going to look good in that jersey, my friend.
Why do you say that?
Because it's going to happen. We got a whole year still to go. Whole year.
I'm already up 2 games now.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, 2 games. I'm really nervous.
It's all done.
It's all done. Calling it finito. Let's talk real quick some Major League Baseball. And I just wanted to get your opinion on this.
Wait, what?
What? Yeah, what spot? Where? Who? There's
baseball?
Baseball.
They've
set a hard date of the 28th of this month, so February 28th, to have a deadline for signing this new deal. Otherwise, some games will be canceled, some regular season games. Do you think that we're going to get a deal before the 28th?
No.
Or at least on the 28th?
No.
No confidence?
Nope.
I have to agree.
It's not going to happen.
I think baseball has finally decided that they don't care about the fans.
First of all, okay, so...
OG's back. OG Starlaz back. Seen you on here for a while. It's good to see you.
Look, I'm telling you, like, baseball owners think that they have this all figured out. And they give them a hard line, and you know what the players are going to do?
Strike.
They're going to flip them a bird. That's exactly what they're going to do.
Yeah. And so
that's it.
Is that what the birds and the turds?
No, but I'm using that as a reference now.
I love it. Yeah, and I agree with you. I look at neither side can seem to agree on anything. And I think
how is it going to hurt the players?
I mean, financially, other than I think they showed some. Is it
like
Garrett
you're
Cole,
making $10 million a year, how
yeah,
is
but
it going to hurt?
Garrett Cole, I think for
How's
each
it gonna
game's
hurt?
like 200,000 for each day
It
missed
doesn't
or
matter.
something.
He's got so much money. He's not going to
Yeah,
get hurt.
yeah. Well,
It's those bench players that didn't budget their money until, oh
yeah,
crap, we might not play.
yeah, yeah. And I agree with him on one part, the right, trying to get the minor league players a little more money, just based on the fact, to your point, that they really can't get a regular job. They're traveling, they're doing all this stuff, and the amounts they're
Well,
paying for these minor league players.
I
So.
hope the players know what they're doing, because now they have to have players like Bryce Harper, Mookie Betts that are making all this money. They're going to have to be paying for these role players to survive
Yeah.
this. So hopefully everybody budgeted their money, because I don't think there's going to be baseball this year.
No, I agree with you. We're going to go to our face-off, though, because we've had enough about Major League Baseball.
To be honest, that'll give us time to look into some Major League Soccer.
Yeah, USFL.
Or U.S. Championships.
Yeah.
Team coming to Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Yes.
And, we're in talks of getting them on the show. And that should be happening real soon.
All right. Can't wait. Let's go to our face-off here. And we are going to bring up this timer. We got 2 minutes here. We're going to discuss the NFL and XFL deal, and if we agree or disagree with it. So, you are against it, correct, my friend?
What?
You are against it or for it?
I don't know. We didn't ask the fans.
We could ask the fans.
We could.
Let me see. I'll pause it at the 2-minute mark here.
But I'll be against it. I really only have one thing to say.
You're against it? All right. So I'm first this week?
Yeah.
All right. So I'll go. All right. So this is the way I look at it. It's a developmental league, which allows NFL players, or at least football players, to start to accolade themselves to the NFL. They're also going to be testing referees. So we've seen some poor quality referees in the past. This would allow them the time to learn more about the game, how to referee the game, if they made mistakes. And they're going to test out rules and equipment. So it gives these guys more opportunity to try stuff instead of just thrown into regular season games or preseason games that really have no meaning. Now you'll see it with real live games that have some meaning, so basically some meat and potatoes to it. It makes sense for the NFL to do this, because I'm tired of hearing they're going to test this rule out for the year, and then ultimately you hate the rule, and next year it's gone. Test it on the XFL, see if it works, and if it does, then you bring it over. That's how I look at it.
Okay, to use a reference from the old XFL, he hate me. That is what the NFL is saying to the fans right now. They absolutely hate us because they're bringing the XFL in as developmental. No, this is just so the NFL can pilfer more money from the fans and keep people in the seats all year round.
Yep.
And just have an excuse that it's developmental. But yet, none of the rules are going to change for the real NFL teams, because it's not like they're going to send somebody down to the minors to get some extra playing time. No, that's not how it's going to work. This is just the NFL trying to pull one over everybody's eyes, and everybody's falling in line like good little soldiers that they are. This is just a sham. A sham.
I love it.
Sham.
It is not.
Sham.
Listen, Chakra just asked, yes, the XFL is back. They were supposed to come back this year, but because of the pandemic, they're actually starting again next year. They've had an agreement with the NFL. The Rock is actually running it now. The Rock is the owner of the XFL, so you might see some suplexing and some other stuff as well in the XFL, which they could bring over to the NFL. See? All works out. I clearly won that face-off.
Oh, come on. You know it yourself. You were totally against this, and you know it.
I'm not thrilled about it, but they are back. They're back. The XFL is back.
It's terrible.
USFL,
It's terrible.
USFL back in April. So we're gonna have football year round now.
That's where I'll spend my time
USFL,
watching
not the XFL.
USFL
All right, we'll see. We'll see. Hey, you know
and
what?
Major League Soccer.
You know what time it is, my friend? It's the pick and roll.
It's
It
almost
is.
7 o'clock.
Almost, but it's the pick and roll, which is the best segment on this show because
It
I'm
is.
usually right. I'm
No,
usually
you're never
most-
right.
90
You're never
99%
never
of the
right.
time.
You're never right.
It's show number 8 of season 2. So we decided how
And
would
you've
it-
been right twice because you had the same list as me.
yeah, oh yeah. How great would it be to rank these number 8s all time? These great number 8 athletes of all time. We're going to start with the late great Kobe
Oh,
Bryant.
I never put mine in order.
Oh, jeez. Kobe Bryant, Yogi Berra, Joe Morgan, Cal Ripken Jr., Willie Stargell, Alexander Ovechkin, and Troy Aikman. So we've covered basically a bunch of different. We got basketball, we've got baseball, we've got hockey, we've got football. Number 8's all time. I'm first this week, so I will start us off. Don't copy my list now that you haven't done yours.
No, well, give me 1 second. Let's
Yeah.
go. Like,
I want to make sure because I know you like.
why don't we
you
mention
want to
the
win.
players? Why don't we mention the players that we could have put in and we didn't?
Who'd you
Like
have?
Carl
Yaz. You talked Yaz. From the
Timu
Boston Red Sox.
Solani, Andre
Solani.
Dawson.
Andre Dawson.
Cam
Yep,
Neely,
a lot of great
Yogi
players.
Berra.
Listen, we got Yogi Berra.
No, we don't.
Yogi Berra, yes. Kobe Bryant,
No.
Yogi Berra, Joe Morgan, Cal Ripken Jr., Willie Stargell, Alexander Ovechkin, and Troy Aikman. Those are your 7 players.
Really? I did not
Yes.
know that
Yes.
Yogi was in.
Yogi was in.
That's quite unfortunate.
We
That's
are having
quite
a dandy of a
unfortunate.
show today. We've had a lot of good stuff come out of this show today. I'm going to tell you that
No,
much.
it's okay.
It's all
I'll
right.
throw him in there somewhere.
All right, just throw him in. Yeah, he's not that big. He's really not that big of a.
No, it's because he's
number
being
8.
number 7 for me.
Okay, I love it. Are you ready? Can I go? Can I do my
No,
list
go
now?
ahead.
All right. So at number 7, the Iron Man played more games straight than any other player in Major League Baseball history. Cal Ripken Jr. He batted .276, 3,184 hits, 1,695 RBIs, 431 home runs, 19 All-Stars, 2 MVPs, 2 Gold Gloves, 8-time Silver Slugger, 2-time Major League Player of the Year. And you're saying, Eric, I don't understand how this guy with all those numbers could be your number 7, and he's missing one thing. And my man always goes by that. He does not have a championship. He's never won a championship, Cal Ripken Jr. Number 6, I had Troy Aikman. And Troy Aikman's numbers really didn't impress me too much. So 94-71 all-time record, 61% completion percentage, 32,942 yards, 165 touchdowns, 6 Pro Bowls, obviously the 3 Super Bowl championships, and he was a 1-time Super Bowl MVP. Solid, not overwhelming if you think about some of the numbers that some of these other quarterbacks have had. So I had to put him at 6. At number 5, this is where it's really started to get a little dicey for me. Willie Stargell batted .282, 2,232 hits, 1,540 RBIs, 475 home runs, 7-time All-Star. He was an MVP 1 year, 2-time World Series champ, and a 1-time Major League Baseball Player of the Year. But when you start to look at some of the other guys and some of their numbers and their accolades, I couldn't put him in the top 4. At number 4, Joe Morgan batted .271, 2,517 hits, 1,133 RBIs, 268 home runs, 10-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champ, 2-time MVP, 5-time Gold Glove, a Silver Slugger, and a 2-time Major League Player of the Year. Obviously, the 2 championships, 10 All-Stars. I thought that was really great. So my top 3 here. Alex Ovechkin at number 3. 762 goals, 621 assists for 1,383 points. My one knock was the 1 cup. He's only had 1 cup. 12-time All-Star, obviously numerous awards, 3-time Pearson, 3-time Richard, and 3-time Hart Award. So his awards as a solo player, great. That one championship, I couldn't put him in my top 2. So that leaves 2 guys. So at number 2, I went Kobe Bryant. 25 points a game, 5.2 rebounds, 4.7 assists. 18-time All-Star, 2-time scoring champion, 12-time defensive player, 5-time NBA champion, 2-time Finals MVP. Obviously, the numbers. Kobe Bryant, phenomenal. But you cannot make Yogi Berra your number 1 player of number 8 all time with a 285 batting average, 2,150 hits, 1,430 RBIs, 358 home runs, 18-time All-Star, 3-time MVP, and a 10-time World Series champion. 10 championships for Yogi Berra. You add all these other guys up, and it almost equals 10. He had it by himself. Yogi Berra, the best number 8 of all time. Best pick and roll. You want to put him at 7 with 10 championships.
No, I couldn't do that. Are you kidding me? You know how I go by championships.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And 10, my friend. And 18 All-Stars.
Right. I didn't have to look at the numbers after I saw that because if it was any other position, then I wouldn't have him at number 1.
Yeah, catcher.
You know, catcher, he is the one that's telling the pitcher what to do.
Yeah, he controls a lot of it.
Because back then it was a lot different. It was the catcher calling everything.
Yeah.
Because the manager would be there.
Yeah.
Look like he'd have a seizure or something. So, all right. So my list, number 7. I wasn't impressed with the numbers after I looked at them. Troy Aikman, number 7.
Yeah, I could see it.
Like 165 games, 165 touchdowns. That's a little too close to.
Yeah. The only knock on that though, you got to remember he had the greatest Russian running back of all time.
I know that.
So they
exactly.
They ran a lot.
Like if he was number 8, he'd probably be number 2. So Troy Aikman, number 7. He read all the numbers. I don't have to go through the numbers. That's the great part about going second.
Yes.
Number 6. I can barely read my writing here. I have Cal Ripken Jr. at number 6.
And I was debating that. Just the championships, I gave Troy a knock.
Yeah. And that was a little iffy for me, but I thought Troy Aikman's numbers were just a little too average.
Yeah, agree.
So that's why I had Cal at number 6. You know, personally, I would have liked to put Teemu Solani ahead of those 2 guys.
I know. We know.
Just for the record.
We know the hockey guy.
Just for the record. Number 5, I have Joe Morgan. And again, his numbers are like homers and all that. I wouldn't go as far as saying average because he scored a ton of runs. 1,650 runs is a lot of runs. Yeah. So he's not the 3rd and 4th hitter. He's more of the second or leadoff guy, you know? So Joe Morgan, him and his 2 MVPs and 2 championships go a long way to that. And he is a great player. He is a great player. Like taking nothing away from him. He's great. What number was that? 5?
Yeah.
Number 4, I have Willie Stargell. His numbers were actually pretty impressive.
They were. So the reason why I had Morgan ahead of him is because of the 10 All-Stars and the 5 Gold Gloves.
Right, and believe me, that's why.
You know my Gold Gloves.
You know, it's like when I looked at the numbers,
when it comes to
I was
baseball,
skeptical of whether he even belonged there.
Yeah.
And then I started looking.
Look at his numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, looking deeper into like defensive skills and just what he meant and where he was in the lineup, and you know, it meant a lot. The 5 Gold Gloves, man, that's impressive.
So Stargell at 4.
So Stargell 7-time All-Star. Another,
Yeah.
like these are MVPs. Like,
Yeah.
it's loaded with them. So Willie Stargell at number 4. Number 3, I have Ovechkin.
Hey, look at that. We agreed on that. All right.
Yeah, it's that one championship.
Right. It's just a one knock. He has all the other accolades, like the 3 Pearson, the 3 Richard, the 3 Hart. I'm like, the guy won a bunch of awards for being
Because
one
I
of the
look at
top
it this
hockey
way,
players.
like where he ranks in goals scored for the
Yeah.
NHL. Like, I mean,
He's going to pass the
third.
great one. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, even if he doesn't, even if he finishes second,
It's pretty impressive.
it's still higher than anywhere that Kobe lands on the list of the all-time greats.
Yeah.
But Kobe has a boatload of championships.
5, man. 5.
If Ovechkin had 3, then there'd be.
Agree. I would put him ahead. I'd probably put him ahead at that point. Just because, like you said, when you talk about NHL history, Ovechkin's name's going to be mentioned as one of the tops of all time.
Yeah.
Kobe, as great as he is, he'll be in the top 5, but there's still a couple other guys that you could always.
I'm not sure he's in the top 5.
Top
10, definitely.
Yeah, but you could make an argument for him to be in the top 5.
You can make
Ovechkin
an
would be one of the top 3 all time.
Yeah, you have 3 guys. These are the 3 best scorers of all time.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. That case ends right there.
So who do you have at 2?
Number 2, I have Kobe.
Kobe. Well, look at it. We had the top 3 right. Okay.
I mean,
it's like we had it right.
Like, yes. I mean, you look at these numbers. I mean, come on. Like, 18 All-Stars, 5 championships. Like, that's all you have to read.
Yeah.
It's really all you have to read.
12-time defensive player.
Those 2 numbers are the only 2 numbers that you have to read to pass up every single player below them.
12-time defensive player, though, too. When you add that in, so not only was he a scorer, defensively, he was shutting people down.
Yeah.
Which means my man, Yogi.
And I hate to do it. This is like the 3rd time I put a Yankee at number first. 1 in a list.
I told you, I am slowly breaking you. Before you know it, you know what? Oh, I got to win this prediction now because I just got it. I'm done. I know exactly what you're wearing. Canadians aren't even the worst thing. LeBron James jersey. You got to wear a LeBron jersey, my friend, if you lose this. Wow. Thank you. Yogi Berra, though, Yankee. Go ahead. What can you not say about him? 10-time World Series champ, 18-time All-Star, 3-time MVP, catcher.
The catcher is what did it.
Right? And 285 batting average. So it wasn't even like he hit.
Being the catcher is what did it. Because I know the era he's from. They didn't have, all the technology and
Ron, don't forget, you could run into the catcher. So it was a completely different game back then.
Oh, yeah.
It was violent.
Yeah.
For him to last that long, win that many championships, and do what he did, and it was a different era. You're right, 100%.
And all those yogi-isms.
Yes. I love it, right? And then his commercials afterwards, like he was still he almost like John Madden, like that. Right after they were able to do so much afterwards, just based off of that. So great pick and roll.
You notice how I didn't even actually say his name.
Yeah, that's number 1. That's fine. We all know 3-time Yankee. 3 times now Yankees number 1.
Yeah, because the other one was Mickey Mantle.
Yeah.
Last week, right?
Yeah. And I think Mariano
Rivera was the other one.
Yeah. So I know you've been following some of the Olympics. I'm going to just go over really quickly some of the medal count and where they finished. And Norway finished with the most medals at 37, and 16 of those were gold. The ROC finished with 32, 6 golds. Germany, 27 with 12 golds. Canada was 26 with 4 golds, and the United States, 25 medals. 8 of those were gold. Anything that you in the last week saw that you'd want to discuss? I really didn't get a chance to watch much of the Olympics.
So after the Russian invasion of Ukraine, I pretty much stopped watching the Olympics.
No,
Yeah,
and again, look,
I've just been watching the news on
I
that.
I
That's
understand that we have to have other countries, host, and I think that's sometimes where the problems lie with the Olympics is that when the time zones are so different and you're dependent so much on it, like let's just the United States,
yeah.
who's not going to watch a game at 2 in the morning or watch an event
No,
at 2 in the morning.
no, especially in this country, we're too selfish for that.
Yeah, so I just feel like sometimes when they're in the United States or they're in the in our time zone, you
In
tend to
Europe,
watch it more than
yeah.
you will when it's not. So I think that's sometimes where this one I wasn't as interested because again the timing just wasn't matching up. Wasn't matching up. But hey, listen, all great athletes, and I'm not gonna knock what they did or what they accomplished. So to get to the Olympics, it's not just something that you can wake up tomorrow and say, I'm going to the Olympics. This is years and years of training, preparation, practice.
Yep.
So these athletes work very hard. They deserve it. I'm glad that whoever won their medals got their medals well deserved. So, but again, time zone for the United States, I think that's what really hurt it because I believe you put up the stat of it was one of the worst performing Olympics from a
Oh
rating
yeah, it
standpoint.
was the lowest ratings in history of the
The
Olympics.
Olympics. So, and I think some of that has to do with the fact that, again, things were on at 3 in the morning. Nobody's really going to pay attention to it.
Yeah, well, you know.
Hey, if you enjoy what you're watching, check us out every Friday night at 6 p.m. We're live. We're fan interactive. We
I'm not done.
You're not done. You got
You,
more
you
Olympics.
well, yeah, you asked me what I
You
had. You
said you
didn't
were
let me
done. You didn't
get.
watch any. I said
No,
you're
I
done.
said.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, no, I said since the invasion,
Okay,
I haven't watched
okay.
any.
What do you got?
Okay, so I do have Nils van der Poel. Remember when he won that? I mentioned that he won that speed skating and
Yep.
broke the world record that
Yes.
he owned before. Well, he gave his medal in protest of China's, we'll say, lack of freedom of speech. He gave it to Guy Minhai, the Swedish publisher that had a lot to say about the leaders in China.
Oh wow.
So, in protest of her, detaining, he gave it to her.
Awesome. It's a great
Yeah.
story.
And the other thing I wanted to mention, which was a display of classlessness. Is that a word? Classlessness.
It is now.
Daniil Eldoshkin, Russian speed skater. Well, he displayed such class after he was playing against the Americans in the semifinals, and after he won, knocking out the Americans, he decided to give the double-fisted birds
Hey. Oh, that's what the
to the
birds are for.
Americans.
Birds and turds.
Yeah,
I got you.
so apparently the Russian leaders may have told him what they were doing. So, the very next day the invasion happened. So
Yeah.
but the point I was making, it was no class because like when you think about it, like I watched all these Olympics and all these athletes, no matter what country they're from, when when one comes down the hill like in skiing and they get the score, then they go and they hug the people that are
Yeah.
standing where the who is going to be on the podium, and they hug each other and yeah, thank you, well, and they're all friendly. That's why, why is this, you know that's not what the
No.
Olympics are about.
No. And
And
I
you
think
go in and you're given the double
you
fisted
you
bird.
you have to take when it comes to that politics out of it, and
Yeah.
just understand the importance. Like I said, they're athletes that have trained and prepared for this for years of their
Right. And
lives.
they're all on the circuit,
Yeah.
they're all
Yeah.
there,
So
every single event. Now, you know, it makes no sense why you would do that. And, it's an insult to the other athletes.
yeah, agreed. Agreed. Agreed.
Could have
So
used that for my
you
final thought.
you could. So once again, if you enjoy what you're watching, check us out every Friday night at 6 p.m. We are live. We are fan interactive. If you join and chime in, we will definitely chime back. Follow us on social media. At Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, at Broadcasting RI on Twitter, Sports_Unfolded on Instagram, podcasts on Amazon, Anchor, Google, and Spotify, and now TuneIn. We have joined TuneIn as one of our podcasts, so we're really excited about that as well. If you don't have time to listen, but you want to watch us, we are live again on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and that is every Friday night at 6 p.m. If you're in Southeast Connecticut, check us out on SEC TV. That is Public Access Channel 12. We are on Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. So if you're watching now and you love the show, which I know you will, check us out on Fridays. Chime in. We'd love to talk to them. We've got so many fans out there today. Chakra's been out there. OG's come back for a little bit. The Faceless has joined and sent some bits. We appreciate that. And then Manny has joined us from Facebook as well. So you can join us from any media possible. If you'd like to sponsor the show, Rhode Island Broadcasting.media@gmail.com. We'd love to have some sponsors. We want to advertise for you. It helps us as well because obviously we'd be able to do even more and you'd get thousands of eyes on your business daily. So check that out as well. Just email us and we'll give you all that information. It's time for predictions. I know you were dying to bring this screen up, so I can see the little smirk. I'm sure you wouldn't forget this one this week, my producer here. And there you are. You've taken a 2-game lead on me.
Yeah, but why isn't my name on the top?
Yeah, that's a lot more work for the guy doing the chart. So,
so everybody out there that is watching, put your predictions in when we announce the game, so that way you can be on this chart.
We can add you to the list. So, yeah, Ron has taken a 2-game lead, but there's a lot left in the year. We're only season 8, season 2 of episode 8 of season 2. So we've got what? We've got a lot left in the tank. 44 more episodes. 44
weeks.
So I think you can. LeBron James jersey. I've just upped the ante. So first game here. Let's talk February 26th. Colorado Avalanche at the Vegas Golden Knights.
Oh, I'm first.
You're first. I'll go next.
All right. So I'm going to go Colorado.
I agree with you.
Of course you do, because you know.
No, I just think Colorado's been playing more consistent hockey. Vegas has looked good at
lost
times.
A couple of times in the past week.
Yeah, well, you and your Bruins. So on March 1st, Calgary Flames at the Minnesota Wild. Calgary's hot. Love the trade. When they made the trade, it seems like it's definitely energized the team. I'm going Calgary. And Minnesota let me down last week. So,
well, I hate to say it, but Minnesota's going to let you down again. I'm going Minnesota.
All right.
The Minnesota Wild are going to stop the winning streak.
Okay. All right. I like it. So on March 3rd, Pittsburgh Penguins at the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Oh, I didn't see that one. Pittsburgh at Tampa Bay?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go Tampa Bay.
I am as well. And again, that Penguins just haven't. They got hot for a little bit there, but they fell off. On February 26th, the Memphis Grizzlies are at the Chicago Bulls. Love the Grizzlies. Love what they're doing. But Chicago at home, DeMar DeRozan has been a different kind of player. I'm going Chicago.
Ditto.
All right. You're up. February 27th, Dallas Mavericks at the Golden State Warriors.
Golden State.
Agreed. As much Dallas has honestly started to play really good basketball. Luka, your man Luka is looking really good now.
I know.
He's come back. He's lost some weight.
I told you.
Be ready. On March 2nd, Miami Heat at the Milwaukee Bucks. I am a believer that the Bucks are going to make a run here shortly. I'm going Milwaukee. I think this is the game they still start to prove that they're.
I got Milwaukee as well.
The defense. So we got one game different this week. So you're
really,
just trying to keep you're trying to keep your lead. So even if I win, I'm still not going to be ahead of you after next week. Let's see how this works.
So the hope is that I can
Edge it
win
out
that
for
one game
edge it out for 44 weeks, and you have
and
a
then
3-game
have a
lead.
3 game
All
lead,
right.
and I'll go everything
Yeah,
even with
you did
you
win.
except for two.
Yeah, you won 3-1 last week, so good job.
Yeah.
All right. So as we normally do, as we end the show, we do our final thought. Doesn't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It could be about anything going on in the world today. I am first this week, so I will give my final thought, and it is about the war that's going on now currently, where Russia has invaded Ukraine. I am just hopeful that we all pray for everyone to get out of this. I know there's already been so many casualties. It's a shame that we're still experiencing this in the world today. But obviously, the people of Ukraine, we pray for you. We hope you stay safe. We hope um, everyone gets through this okay. You've already seen some terrible pictures of family members and hugging them as they're dead on the ground, and it's just a shame that this is where we are today in the world. We need to really start to look at everything and understand that how many lives are lost before it's really not that important. But that was my final thought.
Very nice. Very well said. Mine kinda has to do with that topic, but more along the lines of the athletes that are playing in this country, NHL, NBA. I don't know if there's any MLB Russian players or anything. Football as well, soccer, and all the sports.
Yep, tennis. I know.
Okay, when we're watching these athletes play, as we are well aware of what's going on in Ukraine, just remember the players that are Russian that are playing on your hockey team or whatever team that you root for are not the ones that are in the war. Okay, they're not the politicians that are dictating what's going on with that. So don't start taking it out on all those players, especially in the NHL, because there's a lot of Russian players in the NHL. So don't start taking it out on those players because they are not responsible for what's going on. And that's pretty much what I wanted to say, for the Russian players. So, don't start taking it out on, you know, all these athletes that have no say what's going on. Like they're all just as shocked as you are. This is just the politicians that are doing it all.
Yeah, and I know there was a tennis player, and I'm glad you brought that up. He signed, stop the war, and I believe he was a Russian tennis player. So if you think about it,
Hmm.
even from the standpoint, a lot of these players don't want to see what's happening
He's
happen.
the player that was in the finals against Rafael Nadal.
Yeah. So let's. Great point. Listen, sports is sports, politics is politics, and we're not going to be a political show by
Nope.
no means. We want to say is, look, it's not their fault. Ultimately, everybody has their opinions on what's right or wrong, and a lot of these players don't feel like what's going on is right. So let's honor that as well. Ron, been a great show. A lot going on. So we appreciate you taking the time today. As usual, I've won most of these segments today, so I appreciate you
You
allowing me
won
to do
nothing.
that. But we will be back next week,
Nothing.
Friday at 6 p.m. live. We will also have on Monday our NHL rankings, our NBA rankings. So finally, some games being played. So those will
You
be a little
remind me
different.
of Shooter McGavin.
Shooter.
Didn't win anything, but thinks that the jacket is his.
Yeah, always, always. You know what'll be yours? A LeBron James jersey. So
Hey, I'll be up 3-0.
check us out Friday night, 6 p.m. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter live. Tune in now as a podcast as well. So Amazon, Anchor, Google, Spotify, and tune in. Check us out there as well if you want to just listen. Ron, it's been fun. Look forward to seeing you next Friday.
Uh,
NHL too. We got an NHL show coming up soon,
yeah.
so we'll do that as
Might have
well.
something else this weekend.
We may. We're undecided, but we are definitely working on something possibly for Sunday. So maybe just a free for all. We'll have some fun.
Yeah.
We'll have some fun. Fans out there that have joined live, thank you. So Chakra, thanks for the time. Faceless, thanks for the bits tonight. Manny, thanks for joining as well. OG back, thank you for joining again. Everybody that's going to watch later on, you know what? Check us out. We appreciate all the support. Thank you. Ron, have a good night. Fans out there, peace.
Have a good night, everybody.